Okay, so Chapter 10 is all about circles. Circles, 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 and more circles. You already know the basics of circles, but you're about to learn a whole lot more. Okay? So, the circumference is the outside of the circle. So, the circumference, write circumference right here. The circumference of a circle is the distance around the circle. Here's how I remember this. Do y'all like pizza?
Yes.
What's on the outside of pizza?
Crust.
And it starts with a
C.
And circumference starts with a
C. The crust of a circle.
So the circumference is finding the distance around the circle. Circumference, crust is on the outside, circumference is on the outside. Okay? There's two formulas technically for circumference. However, you only really need one. The one we're going to use most often is C equals pi d. Circumference equals pi times d. Do you know what the d might stand for? Diameter. Diameter. Okay, let's talk about diameter. In a circle, what's given to you right here?
Radius.
That's the radius. A diameter is the whole thing. Diameter is the whole thing. Radius is half. So if they told you the radius of this circle is 13, what's the other half? 13. The other half is 13, which means the diameter is. So if I wanted to find the circumference of this circle, and using the formula pi times d, I would just plug it in. So circumference is equal to 26 times pi. Now we haven't used pi a whole lot in our calculators, so why don't you get your calculator and let's practice using the pi button. Okay, so this is what you do. Ready? 26 times. Some of yours might have to press second to press the pi button. I don't even know where the pi button is on here. Oh, there it is. So I have to press second. Do you have to press second?
Yes.
If you're using the calculator that he has, do you have to press second? You do or you don't?
No. You don't. The pi button's ready.
Oh, I thought you did the.
Okay. Yep, you don't have to press second on y'all. So that is your circumference. So you see 26 times pi in your notes. It says it's about 81.68 centimeters. We have to include our units. Okay? Centimeters, 81 what? I don't know how big the circle is if you don't tell me 81 something. It could be inches, feet, miles. Do you know the difference between a circumference of 81 centimeters and a circle with 81 miles as the circumference? That's two completely different things, right? Okay, so let's look at the next exercise. We want to find the diameter and the radius of the circle with the given circumference. Round to the nearest hundredth. So they've given you your circumference. You want to find the diameter and then the radius. So here it's actually not that bad. So the formula is pi d, right? C equals pi d? Yeah. So if I want to get diameter by itself, I just have to divide the circumference by pi, right? And I'll have d by itself. Because that's your formula to get d by itself, divide both sides by pi. So to get your diameter, take your calculator. 40 divided by pi equals, round to the nearest hundredth. How would I round this? 7.3. 12.73 what? Inches. Do what? Sure. Okay, because that was, how did we get that? We did 40 divided by pi to get this one. Okay, write that down so you don't forget how you got that answer. Well, if I have the diameter, that's the whole thing, right? How do I get the radius? Just divide it by 2. So to get your radius, do 12.73 divided by 2, and that gives you your radius. How would you round that to only 2 decimal places? 37 inches. Because the diameter is 2 radii. Your diameter is 2 radii. So if you want one of them, you just divide it by 2. Okay? All right. Will you do number 2? I'm going to do this one with you again. What's wrong? Okay, so number 2. I would do 256 divided by what? Pi to get the diameter. So how would you round this?
81.49.
Good. 49. What? So the diameter is 81.49 feet in the middle of the circle. And then how do I find the radius? Divide that by 2. So I get 40.74 feet. Where's the 5?
I think it's 575.
Well, it doesn't round up to 5. It rounds to 4. Because that's a 3.
I thought it 81.49.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, if you did that, see, you see what I did? I just divided that whole thing by 2. I didn't type in the new one. Does that make sense? So I get what y'all are saying. That could be 5. Yes. Okay, well, you try the rest of the 4. Notice on 5 and 6, I didn't put your spaces. So if you want them, you can add them here. Okay, try the next 4. Anybody want to come fill in what they got? Misty, number 3. Crusoe, number 4. Armando, 5. Robin, 6. I don't know. I haven't done it. Armando, did you not do it on your sheet?
No.
Go do it on your sheet.
I'll just put the answer in there.
I was wanting you to do it then. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. There you go. Shh. I haven't done it. Oh, good. You can come write it up here on the board, though, right? Come write it on the board. Shh. Here.
This works.
You do or don't. Is that what y'all got? Is the rounding correct?
Yes.
Did you get different? Okay, check your answers. We good? You got something different for which one? 6. So 204.16 divided by pi is 64.99 meters. And then divide that in 2. So it should be 32.50. Is that what you're saying? You rounded up to 50? Okay. Either one, because if you don't replug it in, you'll get the same thing. Armando, do you have a question?
Yes.
Yes.
Will this rounding matter when we take a test? Because the last time it didn't matter, I expected and I'm dropped out.
Yes, it will matter. What will also matter and take off points, unnecessary points, that should be easy points, it will matter if you put the unit. You need to put the unit, okay? All right, so let's move on to 7 through 11. Okay, what do the instructions say to find? The what? The circumference, which is what? Pi times d. C equals pi times d. So, do we know the diameter? I did pause it. I paused it the whole time. Okay, now we're finding, that was just practice. Now we're actually getting to the circles where we need to find the diameter and their circumference. What kind of triangle is this? It's a right triangle. And what piece are we missing? The hypotenuse. How do we find that piece?
No.
I heard it.
The R word.
Back there. Pythagorean theorem. So this is the one you're finding is your hypotenuse because it's across from your 90-degree angle. So that's your C. So let's take the other two. Doesn't matter what order. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Plug 8 squared and 6 squared into your calculator. You're going to get 64 plus 36 equals C squared. That's 100 equals C squared. What do I do to take the, how do I get this squared to go away? And what's the square root of 100? So your diameter is 10. Am I done? We have to find the circumference, which is pi times d. Well, that's going to be 10 times pi. What is pi? So times 10, 31.4, right? It says, okay, so let's just round to a tenth. 31.4 what? Centimeters. Okay? All right, number 8, same exact thing. What do these two dashes mean? They're congruent. So if one's 9, what's the other? So what am I finding? So how do I set up the Pythagorean theorem? 9 squared plus 9 squared equals? Go ahead and take the square root. So I'm going to find the diameter to be 12.7. What'd you get? Okay, so can't we find the diameter now? I'm sorry, the circumference? Pi times what? No, let's just say 39.9. 39.9 what? Inches. Okay, you try number 9. Use what you know to try number 9. Check your answer whenever you get done. Is that what y'all got? What did you get for the diameter? 7.6. I got that because, here's why. If this side is 3, then this side is 3. So now I can ignore the top half of that triangle and do 7 squared plus 3 squared to get your hypotenuse. Okay? Can anyone tell me, super quick, without using a calculator or writing anything down, what's the diameter of 10? The diameter of 10. What's the diameter of 10?
11.
What'd you say, Harrison? Look, this looks confusing. It looks confusing. They're telling you from here to here is 11. Well, isn't that the same exact thing as sliding it over and going here to here? So your diameter is 11. So to find the circumference, all you do is pi times 11. Yeah. What'd you round it to? Good. Okay, let's skip 11 and 12 for now. For now, let's skip 11 and 12 and get to that. Okay, so inside the circle we have different pieces, okay, different parts. Okay, so you have a couple of different things going on right here. A segment with endpoints that are at the center and on the circle. So from here to here, right? Let me say my words. Come on, Jenkins. From the center to the outside. From the center to the outside. From the center to the outside. Those are all the same thing, and they're called the radius. Those are your radius. From the center to the outside. Okay, a segment with endpoints on the circle. So any two segments that go to the outside of a circle, those are called a chord. It's called a chord. A chord means both of its points are touching the outside of the circle. So name one chord you see. AE. Both of those are touching on the outside. AE is a chord. What else? DB. But DB is a chord, but what is it also? Diameter. Diameter. So a chord that passes through the center is called, and is made up of two radii, is a diameter. So we've learned diameter, radius, and chord. Chord should be the only one that's kind of new. You should know radius and diameter. So in this circle right here, whatever's at the center, that's how you name the circle. So which point's at the center? O. So this circle is called circle O. The symbol for a circle is a circle with a dot in the middle. That is how you call a circle. So if we're naming a circle, we would call this circle circle O. One has a dot, one does not. Because that's the symbol. Okay? How many radii do you see?
2.
Look again.
4.
4. It does not matter how you name the radius or the radii. It does not matter. I always start from the middle though. But it does not matter. How would I name this radius? OA. Could you also call it AO? Yes, you could. So it's just like a line segment. Remember how we used to write line segments like this with the bar over it? That's one radius. Name another one. I heard OB and I heard OC and then I also heard OD. Yep. So are all 4 of those things congruent? Yes, they are. Name the chords of a circle. CD. Touching the outside, goes through it, and then what else? AB. Yep. Will you try 1 through 7 for me? You try 1 through 7. Okay, are y'all checking your answers? You can just write the answer. Matt, sit down. Okay, number 1 is correct. Circle R. Number 2, name the radii. There were 4. RA, RX, RY, RB. It would also be correct if you said AR, XR, YR, or BR. All of those are correct. Name the chords AX, YB. Name the diameters X, Y, AB. If AB is 18, let's say R. Okay, one tiny thing right here. Don't forget your units. Inches, inches. Okay, so on number 3, how many cords did they list?
2.
Which is right, but technically, aren't there 4?
Yes.
Okay, so on questions on your homework or classwork or tests or quizzes, it might say, name a chord that's not a diameter. Okay? Or if I say name a chord, do you have to list all of them? No. If I say name A, that's just one. Feel free to list all you want, but just one. Is AB congruent to XY?
Yes.
Yes, all diameters are always congruent. Diameters of the same circle. Diameters of same circle, always congruent. Just like the radii of the same circle are always congruent. Okay, so what I want you to do now is I want you to flip back to the front, and I want you to finish 11 and 12. No, then we're going to look at our math workshops. Finish 11 and 12. Check your answers with mine. What happens when I square a square root? A square root and a square cancel each other out. So this just becomes 2 plus 2. And then you have to take the square root of it, right?